of options to promote teams. Big, and G, youth, and it's just so much leverage for both coaches to both of us. And he still makes mistakes, but owning up to them is the right thing to do. So, to create a cool rush deal, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and it did not overcome their feelings. So this whole thing is it turns up the sweat and over protection when you turn up the effort. That's because cool rush fans really turn up the effort in the original. At one night, it started as a one-line petition, and if you listen, they have done. They're bringing back the original Cool Rush set, read it, and it's exactly how you wrote it. The rest of the phone is back in Walmart, Target, and other stores now. There's a reason it's been the number one men's anniversary for the last decade. It's why people were not happy when it changed. So if you've never tried it, it might be a good time to see the fuss to that. Head to your local Walmart, Target, try to vote Gene and read
What in the fuck are you listening to?
Depth is the recruiting theme that I've seen for sure. In the sense that the Pacers, 3-4 they gain on substantial goals off the bench. Seeing Robinson, seeing Osprey, Dante D, Nikhil Alexander Walker. These teams just have pointing down their things. And even the bigs, like the bigs, so I think that's part of it. A rock solid 7 that you can count on. I think to point Paul and getting slower. Each man worry out the court this season. And we see that percentage there. So depth is a significant part of it. It's an interesting trend towards offense and late playoff success.
Give me a UAV.
2 years ago, Denver is the first team that's not a defending champion that's not a top 10 defense. Last year, we had 3 top 5 other 3 top 10 offenses, 2 top 10 defenses. This year, all 4 teams in the Final Four are top 10 offenses.
We got the lead. Now hold it.
Minnesota are top 10 defenses, which are 5 defenses. The offensive side of the floor is becoming more important as the coaching staff, the defensive staff, made it so that groups like that Denver group pretty well when they're engaged and they're playing hard. And so what's really becoming important is do you have the scoring to actually qualities in these competitive environments.
It's interesting. There's a real change in the league, and I think it's one Adam Silver that's wanted. And Brunson are high IQ, EQ floor generals. 5 years ago, it was let's get 3 really good players together. So I just thought that's not what we want. Like, that's just eliminating to 60 to 70% of the teams. And you're getting the basketball that so wanted physical playoff basketball. Dynasties, multiple neighborhoods. You can't expect longer. Even Boston, they changed the code for a year, and then this year, and once we move on, right, Porzingis or Drew Holiday, Boston, everybody else does, right? So I think it's what we wanted, and I can tell you what I really like. Defenses get points. I like point guard for basketball. I love smart point guard play. I always love it. Everybody gets touches. In Chicago, we started talking about Jalen Brunson. All sports fans. And I didn't see that. I watched that Dallas. I didn't see that. Like, about certain players smoked. Well, defense, 3 heavy guys like Dwight Howard, Tristan Thompson. It's like, man, you can't put them on the floor. It's almost like Adams plays basketball in Brunson now, which is, it's not, you're going to have these roster, there aren't all guards, there with patience, but both like intelligence, and getting touch it, because the piece becomes huge, like trucks now, and I'm like, it's kind of really for Evan Halliburton. It's
Lead
the
guard.
points isn't necessary. You don't have any top heavy offense. You get 7 guys, lightning guys, and you got them all punches. Watch, like the Knicks and the Pacers are outliers. I'm like, they're my favorite 2 teams right now going to watch.
I think what we're seeing is stars that are being and the living off of that advantage. Essentially, like, as the game has modernized, there's a lot of really similar jobs on offense. Like, let us back regardless of what back. If you're taking a closeout, it's the same for the Pacers as it is for the Knicks, as it is for the Nuggets. On three, skipping a ball screen because they put 2-1 run center, they put 2-1 Halliburton. It's the same for Golden State as it is in Indiana, as it is in Utah. So what happens is, as a GM, these types of talent, these two-way players that can close out, make reads, play defense, all that kind of stuff. And all it becomes is you have a guy, a singular force that constantly brings the ball, make right reads, to generate that first closeout. And then from there, it's all about it could be optimizing on that advantage. But Tyrese Halliburton is succeeding because he's one of the best advantage creators in basketball. Brunson was a little bit more of a lean towards scoring, but I mean, even in this series, in this matchup in particular, the Pacers have been able to put Brunson scoring down and then constantly on the ball. This will be a series where we're going to see a lot of OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart make plays, and it is a very big direction for change in this offensive theme that we're talking about. This is why guys like Jokic are so valuable. This is why guys like Jokic are so valuable. When you have somebody that's like pieces at this time, all of a sudden he's really achieved goals for both players, and those are the kinds of guys that the GMs are picking up all over the league. To Sam Presti's credit, he's got like 8 of these dudes that can do try to close out, make a read, grab a rebound. And so as a result, they just come flying in. It's like, good job, you finished the J up in 4 minutes. Stay some balls and and they might actually get out of that.
Time's not on our side.
Didn't want to be in the same situation as my parents. I have to ask my children if I can actually be healthy.
Wait, there's a possibility of being hurt that we made it into.
We got the lead. Now hold it.
Better if it's OKC. Probably and the Knicks. We believe that they have an income for 42 in the guard. And it's fans always teams that the Knicks win. Is the one that lost. And we see this a lot in the NBA. The end of dynasties, that's not the case because it's never a dynasty. But I do feel here from the Spurs, and then they weren't. And then I thought, it was going to be 4 years. And then they weren't. The next year, you see, that's it. Tatum is fine. Games. When he misses the season, it's just a different ball game because Jalen Brown was hot and cold offensively. Boston, and again, there's so many smart front offices in the NBA.